President Biden has announced a new part to his student loan forgiveness plan that will help nearly 277,000 people. It's part of a program created by the White House to make it easier for some groups like public sector workers to qualify for that loan forgiveness. The program also includes a repayment plan that creates a shorter pathway to loan forgiveness for low-income borrowers. In total, the Biden administration has authorized the cancellation of $153 billion in student debt for nearly 4.3 million people. So today what we're going to do is we're going to discuss student loans, forgiveness, repayments, and more, what you can expect. You can send us your questions, 336-379-5775, and you can get them answered anonymously, live, right here on the air. With us to help us with this discussion is Betsy Mayotte. She's the founder and president of the Institute of Student Loan Advisors. All right, so Betsy, let's talk about what this new announcement really means.
Yeah, so this is President Biden's sort of second bite at the broad forgiveness apple. If you remember, we had a roller coaster of emotions last year where he announced sort of some broad loan forgiveness and then eventually got challenged in court and shot down by the Supreme Court. This time he took a different route to attempt to do some broad forgiveness, and we've got the draft rules today, as a matter of fact. This is a little narrower and not as what's the word I'm looking for? Not as generous as the last proposal was, but it still stands to provide some relief to especially borrowers that have been struggling with their loans for a long time.
All right, so people heard about it, but it's not like set in stone as of yet, or what do people need to know about whether they're getting something or not getting something?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the draft rules, they have actually officially come out tomorrow. And then there's going to be a public comment period of about 30 days. I do know the White House and the Department of Education are going to fast track this. So normally I wouldn't expect to see a final version of these rules before the end of October. But I'm speculating that we'll see them this summer and that they'll try to push out and implement this new forgiveness program as early fall. Now, it could get challenged in court again. Quite frankly, I'd be surprised if it didn't. And if it does get challenged in court, that could hold up the implementation.
Okay, so that is something that's new, but something that has kind of been on the agenda and has been going on every couple of months is this forgiveness for certain kinds of loans. So what are we talking about? Because I'm thinking that May is going to be another month where there's probably another like automatic loan forgiveness.
Yeah, so what this proposal does is it addresses sort of 5 categories of borrowers. I think the big whammy here are borrowers that have been in repayment, but they owe more than what they borrowed, despite the fact that they've been in repayment. So some of those borrowers who are, for example, on an income-driven repayment plan and whose income for a single borrower is below, I believe it's $180,000. I might be a little off on that number. They stand to get any amount that they owe more than what they borrowed. They stand to get that forgiven. People not on an income-driven plan, they could get up to $20,000 forgiven if it's more than what they originally borrowed. Other borrowers that have been in repayment for 20 or 25 years could potentially get their entire balance forgiven, which is very similar to a program that's going on today. And then there's some other sort of side categories, catch-all categories, like for borrowers that might actually be eligible for an existing discharge program, but because they never applied, they never got it. And if the Department of Ed has access to the information they need, they could automatically provide the borrowers with that discharge. One thing that was missing from this proposal is a broader hardship category. Now, we did the Department of Ed just had a meeting about that in February, and I think that's why it wasn't included in this draft. So I expect we may see another set of regulations sort of around a broader financial hardship category later in the year.
All right, Betsy, so I already have 3 questions. All of them are kind of the same, so we're going to kind of go with it. And they're saying, what is the website to sign up for the loan forgiveness? Do I have to register to apply for the new loan forgiveness?
Nothing. Do nothing. It doesn't exist yet. There's no website for it. As to whether there'll be an application for any of this, based on my reading of the draft rules, I don't see there being an application if people are eligible for this future forgiveness. If it goes through as written, if they're eligible, it'll just happen. So again, it doesn't exist yet, so no application, no website about it.
Okay, what we can tell people is anytime they're curious about where their loan stands or who has their loan, there is a one-stop shop for that, and that is studentaid.gov.
Right. Studentaid.gov is the Department of Education's website. If and when this program comes to fruition, that is where you're going to be able to find any information about it. But again, we're still in the draft rule stage, so it's not official yet.
Okay, all right. Somebody's asking, if you were a co-signer on a student loan, would the co-signer be allowed in with this forgiveness?
If you were a co-signer on a student loan, chances are it's a private loan, not a federal loan, and therefore this forgiveness would not apply to you. There is a small number of Graduate Plus and Parent Plus loans that have what we call endorsers. They're a little bit different than a co-signer. Those loans would be, any forgiveness attached to those loans would be based on the borrower's income, not the endorsers.
Okay, so most likely if you're a co-signer, it is a private loan, and that is not part of this whole student loan forgiveness thing.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with more of your questions. Again, the number is 336-379-5775.